There was a time when everyday life in America included habits that would stop people in their tracks if they saw them today. Not because they were rare or unusual, but because they were so completely normal that no one questioned them at all. Number 5, letting kids roam miles away from home all day. In the 1950s, childhood looked very different from what it does now. Children did not stay within sight of the house, and they did not check in every hour. They left in the morning, sometimes right after breakfast, and they did not come back until the sun began to set. They walked through neighborhoods, fields, woods, and streets with a level of independence that feels almost unthinkable today. There were no phones in their pockets, no GPS tracking, no constant supervision. Parents often did not know exactly where their children were, only that they were somewhere nearby, somewhere within the invisible boundaries of the community. And those boundaries were not marked by fences or rules written down anywhere. They were understood. Kids knew how far they could go, which streets were acceptable, which places were off limits, and when it was time to come home. That understanding was built through experience, not constant instruction. They learned to navigate space, solve problems, and manage risk in real time. If they got lost, they found their way back. If something went wrong, they handled it. There was a level of trust placed in children that shaped how they grew up. Today, the idea of a child disappearing for 8 hours without contact would be alarming. It would raise immediate concern. But at the time, it was not neglect. It was normal. And it created a kind of resilience that is difficult to replicate in a world where movement is constantly monitored and controlled. The day belonged to the child, not the schedule. And that freedom, while risky in some ways, also built confidence in ways that structured environments often cannot. Number 4, drinking straight from garden hoses. On a hot day, especially in the summer, children did not go inside to get a glass of water. They went to the nearest hose, turned the handle, waited a moment for the warm water to pass, and then drank directly from the stream. It was immediate, refreshing, and completely normal. No one thought twice about it. The hose was simply another source of water. Today, that image often comes with hesitation. Concerns about materials, cleanliness, and safety have changed how people view something that was once routine. But beyond the practical concerns, the habit reflects something about how people interacted with their environment. Water was available, accessible, and used without ceremony. There was no need to filter the experience, no need to prepare for it. It was simple, and that simplicity extended to many parts of daily life. Not every action required preparation, equipment, or approval. Sometimes you just did what was necessary in the moment. Number 3, hitchhiking as a normal way to travel. There was a period in American life when standing by the side of the road with your thumb out was not seen as dangerous or unusual. It was simply a way to get from one place to another. People hitchhiked to work, to visit family, to cross towns, and sometimes even states. Drivers picked up strangers without hesitation, and passengers climbed into cars without fear. This system relied entirely on trust. There were no background checks, no ratings, no digital confirmations, just a shared understanding that people helped each other when they could. Today, the idea of hitchhiking carries a very different weight. It is often associated with risk, uncertainty, and caution. But in the 1950s, it functioned as an informal network of transportation. It filled gaps where public systems did not reach and offered flexibility that structured travel could not. It also created interactions between people who would otherwise never meet. Conversations happened between strangers, stories were exchanged, and the journey itself became part of the experience. That kind of openness has largely disappeared, or travel is now more controlled, more predictable, and more isolated. The stranger is no longer someone to engage with, but someone to avoid. And while that shift has increased safety in some ways, it has also reduced a kind of everyday human connection that once existed without effort. Number 2, sharing a single razor among family members. In modern homes, personal hygiene items are almost always individual. Everyone has their own razor, their own toothbrush, their own set of products. But in the 1950s, especially in working-class households, sharing was common. A single razor might be used by multiple members of the family, cleaned, stored, and reused as needed. This was not seen as strange. It was practical. Razors were durable, designed to last, and replacing blades was a routine part of maintenance. The focus was not on individual ownership, but on function. If the tool worked, it was used. Today, this idea feels uncomfortable, even unthinkable to many people. Standards of hygiene have changed, and expectations have shifted. But the habit reveals something about the mindset of the time. Resources were not infinite. Items were not disposable. And the line between personal and shared was often drawn differently. The razor was not an identity item. It was a tool. And like many tools in that era, it served whoever needed it. That approach reduced waste, reduced cost, and simplified the household. It also required a level of trust and practicality that feels distant from the highly individualized systems we rely on now. Number 1, kids riding in the back of pickup trucks. In the 1950s, it was common to see children sitting in the open bed of a truck as it moved down roads, through towns, and across distances that would seem shocking today. They sat on the edges, on blankets, sometimes holding on to the sides, sometimes not. There were no seatbelts, no restraints, no protective barriers, just open air and movement. It was not considered reckless. It was considered normal. The truck was a tool, and everyone rode wherever there was space. Today, the idea of placing a child in the back of a moving vehicle without protection is alarming. Laws have changed, awareness has increased, and expectations of safety are far higher. But the image remains powerful because it represents a different relationship with risk. Risk was present, acknowledged, and accepted as part of life. It was not eliminated, and it was not always controlled, and that acceptance shaped behavior in ways that are difficult to measure. Children learned awareness, balance, and caution through experience rather than instruction alone. They understood movement.
It's part of Baron's Court, but there's neither courtyard nor garden, either at the back or in the front, for the babies of these West Londoners to romp in safety. But Mrs. Morris
also removed certain experiences that once played a role in everyday life. And looking back at all of these habits, what stands out is not just how different they were, but how normal they felt at the time. A reminder that what we consider shocking today was once simply how life was lived without question.